Before we get going in today's video, if you haven't already, I've launched a new EFL channel. So if you're a Wrexham fan looking for EFL content this season, looking for how we're, going to compete in League One, looking at the teams we're going to be competing with, or if you're just an overall EFL fan that would like to see some shirt rankings, transfer news, best player, worst player, make sure to get in the description of this video and subscribe to my new channel, Liam Talks EFL, and let's get into the video. Welcome back to another video on the channel today. Today, we're finally back. It's nearly been 2 weeks since we have been here, sat talking about Wrexham AFC, and since I've uploaded a video on the channel, but finally today, we are back talking about some very interesting topics. Of course, we've had the kit, we've got new transfer rumours, and since the last video I've recorded on the channel, Wrexham have now officially completed our Wrexcoast tour, and there were some very interesting talking points and some very interesting results to come out of it. But before we get going in today's video, if you are looking for all the best Wrexham AFC content on YouTube, this is the place to be. Like I said, if you're new, make sure to get down there, click the red subscribe button. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers, so any new subscribers, any new people watching this video, and if you're not subscribed already, please consider hitting the red subscribe button down below and turning on that notification bell so you're notified every time a new video comes to the channel. So the first talking point we're going to be talking on is the two new shirts that were released by Wrexham AFC last week. We've got two shirts, the home shirt and of course the gold third shirt that everyone was really looking forward to seeing. I think it's fair to say there's been some mixed opinions definitely on the home shirt, and some even on the away shirt as well. We're going to be starting off with the home shirt that we're going to be reviewing first. It's the first part of the three shirts that are coming out. It was the first one released, and I was in the queue. There were no leaks of the shirt, so we were going into it blindly. We didn't have a clue what to expect. But I was sat in the queue waiting, and I scrolled down, I saw the shirt, and the first thing that came to my mind, I think the first thing that would have come to anyone's mind when first looking at the shirt at first glance, was that big chunky collar that is on the shirt. It's a bold feature of the shirt, it's very prominent, you can't miss it. I think the same could be said about the white cuffs as well on the sleeves, which I don't think, I think they look quite nice on the sleeves, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that collar. The chunky white collar, okay, it might have been okay if it was maybe a circular collar or a classic v-neck collar, but it comes down with a slight v-neck, and then you've got those really big flaps like you'd find on a polo shirt, which I wouldn't say ruins the shirt, but I think it definitely does knock it down a couple of marks for me, because I think the potential, of course, for the design and for what they wanted to do with this kit could have been massive, of course, going into League One. However, looking at the front design of the shirt, you'll see, the dragon scales, you'll see the dragon implemented onto the shirt. I think that's something that Macron have done really well on the Wrexham shirts in the past couple of seasons, added those subtle designs on the front of the shirt to take it from, what would have been probably a 5, 6 out of 10 to possibly a 7, 8 out of 10. Those small touches I think Macron have done really, really well the past couple of seasons. As well, of course, you'll find on the nape of the back of the neck the Gresford Collier's Disaster tribute, which of course has been on the shirts for the past couple of seasons. So again, a really, really classy touch. I think overall on the home shirt, could it have been better? Yes. Could it have been a lot worse? Yes. Another thing that's putting me off buying the shirts is the price. You'll find the shirt on the website for £60 plus postage, it's £65. That's just for the people in the UK. I do dread to think what it would be like if you're living in the States or if you're living in Canada. It would probably be £100 plus if you do want to buy the Wrexham home shirt. I really do hate to say it, because I think there's definitely been some really good shirts since the takeover has happened, but in my opinion, this home shirt this year is a miss. That's my personal opinion. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm not just going to sit here, put on a fake face and say it's a wonderful shirt. I don't think I'm fully convinced by it. I'm not convinced by the price increase, which of course is going to happen as you climb the leagues. The shirt's going to be more expensive, and I do think the home shirt could have been a lot better this season. £65 as well. I'm sure there's a reason behind this. I'm sure Wrexham will see it from a financial point of view. Of course, if fans are buying it, if the people, the new fans from the Welcome to Wrexham are buying it, I have no issue with it at all, because that money is probably going to get pumped back into the club, possibly new signings, be used for different things around the club, the training facilities, etc. So on that side, it's a win. On our side, we're spending hard-earned money, £65 to be exact. It's not really a great shirt for the money that some people will be paying for it. Now there's a mic drop coming in. We move on to the third shirt, the gold third shirt that was highly anticipated for weeks upon weeks by Wrexham fans. It's come out, and I'll say this gold third shirt, take my £65 in an instant. I love this shirt. I absolutely love it. We got the news that we were having a gold shirt. We had our expectations. We had our thoughts inside our head what it could be. It's come out. it is a stunner. They have pulled off a blinder by producing this third shirt. The gold and the black combination I think looks really nice. You know, we've got the black shorts as well. The collar again is slightly similar to the home shirt. It either makes or breaks a shirt. In this instance, I'm still undecided on the collar on this shirt. I think, you know, like I said, it's like the home shirt. It's very prominent. It doesn't take away the fact that we're going to be donning a gold shirt next season. It is really good. Rob and Ryan wanted their black shirt. We got that last year. The fans wanted a gold shirt. We've got it this year. Again, it's like that polo shirt feel to the collar. I think it could be better. I think the collar could have been a lot better. If it was a simple V-neck, in my opinion, this would be a solid 9 out of 10. But again, I think the collar is going to be something that frustrates me. I'm sure there'll be many older Wrexham fans that love that old school feel, you know, with that big collar that they used to have back in the day. But in my opinion, I think a V-neck or a circular collar in this instance would have made it spectacular. Again, it's the Gresford Collier's disaster anniversary this year, and Wrexham have made a brilliant touch by saying it will feature on all the shirts this season and all the training shirts. So of course we see that again on the nape of the shirt. It's a really classy touch yet again, and yet again we do see the dragon scales on the front of the shirt. It's got that retro feel to it. It just feels like a retro shirt, and that's something I can really get behind. And you know, we were waiting for the release. I'm sure thousands of people can agree with me. We were straight on the website getting that third shirt into the basket and purchased. This really does excite me for what they do have in store for the black away shirt. If we're going off logic and if we're going off what we've seen previously, I think we can probably imagine maybe something to do with the dragon scales again. I'd like it to be something different, but we've seen the last 2 shirts have the dragon scales. I think there's definitely a chance we see that again. Could we see the same collar? I hope not. Is it going to happen? Probably yes, but it's not the end of the world. A black shirt is always going to be nice. So let's just hope when it is released next week that it's going to be another classic. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm sat here being picky about the shirts and whatnot. It could have been worse. We could have had Stevenage's home shirt. So yeah, like I said, we're very, very lucky to be in a situation where we've got brilliant shirts for the past couple of seasons. Swiftly moving on, we're going to be talking, like I said in the intro of the video, our Wrexcoast tour obviously did start last week. You've seen no videos on it on the channel. I've done nothing because of course I've been away, I've been on holiday. This is the first time I'm going to voice my opinion on everything that's happened. We of course had the 3 games against Bournemouth, Chelsea and Vancouver Whitecaps. And of course it's only right that we start off with our first game against AFC Bournemouth. So our Wrexcoast tour kicked off in Santa Barbara, where we did play Premier League side AFC Bournemouth. As you've seen by the result, we've picked up a 1-1 draw against, you know, a good outfit. You know, Bournemouth didn't necessarily play an under-23s team. They had a couple here and there, but the majority of them play regularly in the Premier League for Bournemouth. So I think it was a really good performance. We held our own really well. I didn't really know what to expect going into this game. If you'd have said before that we'd have picked up a 1-1 draw and seen the performance that we did have, I would have been very, very pleased. And I am very, very pleased after the result we saw. We, of course, took the lead before half-time. Sam Dolby's flick on. I think it was an own goal by James Hill in the end. But I think throughout the 90 minutes, it was a very positive and encouraging viewing for the spectators. So, you know, we played some good football. Dobson loves to get stuck in. We saw him get that yellow card on Alex Scott. Good pass to the ball. McLean looked really, really sharp. I thought Dolby and Marriott both looked really, really good. Parky said in an interview a couple of weeks ago they wanted to keep the players fresh into the upcoming season. Of course, as you go up the leagues, you need to progressively become better as a player. And I think they've definitely shown signs, especially Dolby and Marriott. They both look really sharp. They look good up top. Plenty of movement from Marriott. Dolby looked good at holding up the ball. Does this open the debate? Do Wrexham still need a striker? I think we definitely will need to bring one in because it's League One. Sam Dolby, he didn't score many. Is there the possibility that they do something this season? Yes. Do they become the 10-15 goal striker that we're looking to bring in next season? I'm going to have to say no. I have no doubt in my mind that they will still have a lot to offer into this team going into the upcoming League One season. And of course, we did get to see Sebastian Revan and Callum Burton out in a Wrexham shirt for the very first time. Revan, over this tour, I've been very, very impressed by. Flying down that left flank, a goal, of course, against Vancouver Whitecaps, and encouraging signs ahead of this League One season. And a player I'm very, very excited to see play on the 10th of August at home to Wycombe. 13,500 was the attendance on the day. Phenomenal. Incredible support from the Wrexham fans, and it was described by a Bournemouth fan on social media that 1/5 of the fans were there for Bournemouth. So take what you will of that, and it just shows the sheer size of Wrexham's global audience that has formed since the documentary. You know, we've seen thousands of Wrexham fans in Santa Barbara, thousands of Wrexham fans in Santa Clara, and then you go over to Canada, a completely different country, and you see a record attendance for the Whitecaps. It's just crazy to see, you know, how Wrexham have grown on a global scale. I think it is a very, very good opportunity and a very good thing that the club are doing. Of course, look at growing the international fan base. And moving on to our second pre-season game, we did play Premier League giants, 6-time Premier League winners, Chelsea. So we made the trip up to Santa Clara for this game. Of course, we saw it was a great test for our players, a great, you know, opportunity to gain that experience against some multi-million pound players. Chelsea has spent nearly £1 billion in the past couple of seasons, and there was probably at least £500 million on show in that game. So to pick up a 2-2 draw against them was very, very impressive. And I'm sure, you know, you'll look at it from the outside. Chelsea have got battered yesterday by Celtic 4-1. They drew 2-2 to us. They've looked very dodgy in pre-season. Like I say, it's only pre-season, but these are very good results to get on the board. It's promising. We lost them 5-0 last year. This year we've made a massive improvement and picked up a 2-2 draw. Like the Bournemouth game, Chelsea had some real quality on show in that game. Some strong, you know, a strong team in the first half, a strong team in the second half. And it was an unfortunate goal, you know, that Christopher Nkunku scored. And of course, in the second half, we were unlucky not to hold on to the lead. I think we were like 10 minutes away from beating Chelsea. So see that we're going toe-to-toe with some of these big Premier League teams is definitely encouraging signs. I think we all knew going into this game, Chelsea, of course, they're the Premier League team. They're the Premier League team that have spent millions and millions of pounds. They've got a manager that's just won promotion to the Premier League. You've got Premier League winners in the Chelsea team. We knew they were going to come into this, control of possession, be dominant on the ball, take their chances very well. And of course they did. They scored the 2 goals. But on the other hand, you've got to look at Wrexham. We only had a handful of shots. We took those chances really, really well. Luke Bolton coming up at the back post, and an excellent finish from striker Jack Marriott. He won the ball back, tracked back, did the tackle, and then put a lovely left-footed finish into the goalkeeper's left-hand corner. A very, very good strike. You know, something we didn't really see from Marriott last season, so I hope this is the start of him possibly regaining his confidence. You know, that'll do him the world of good. He had a good game against the Whitecaps as well. Getting that goal against Chelsea, you know, in the manner that he did, he tracked the ball back, put it into that left-hand corner. You know, it just shows the determination I think that he will have going into this season. So I'm sure he'll think himself he wasn't happy with, you know, when he joined Wrexham from the start, when he joined to the end of the season. I'm sure he would have wanted more goals, more game time, and this pre-season was his chance to prove why he wants to be that starting striker for Wrexham. Another thing that I was quite impressed by as well was our structure outward possession. I think there were times, you know, last year, I can't put a name on, you know, the games that it happened, but I think there were times where we were slightly out of position and we got caught and we got punished. I think Salford at home is an example of that between our defenders on that right hand side. But we looked really good when Chelsea were in possession. We kept our structure really well, and of course we held our own really well against such a good team. I think overall the whole team just impressed me. I think they all looked really sharp and in really good condition. So it's good that we're going to come back from this tour, have that one last pre-season before we kick off the season, and hopefully go into, you know, the first month, 2 months of the season with a fully fit squad, looking really sharp and looking to make an early statement to League One. I think this was something that I think a lot of people were talking about on social media. I think it was the attendance. You know, someone took a shot from the top of the stadium looking down. It wasn't as full as the game that we played last year. I think that was mainly because possibly of the location, possibly even more. I think this is the biggest reason. The extortionate ticket prices. I think if the ticket prices were a lot lower, we could have possibly seen a sold out stadium, but they were a lot of money. So I don't blame people when they could have watched it at home for a tenner, but it is a shame because I think this game definitely had potential for how it panned out last year with a massive attendance. But again, beggars can't be choosers. Like I've said, I can sit here and moan all I want, but it was still a very good attendance and a good occasion and a good experience for our players. And of course the fans, the worldwide Wrexham fans that are probably based in Santa Clara, it gives them the opportunity to come down and see the team they love. And next up, we're going to be talking about the game that did happen last night. Wrexham 4, Vancouver Whitecaps 1. We ended our Wrexcoast tour with a very convincing 4-1 win against MLS side Vancouver Whitecaps, who I do believe played a slightly younger team. It wasn't their full team. Of course, we know Ryan Gold. Any English fans know the potential he had when he was playing over in Scotland. He wasn't featured in the squad, so I think that sort of gave us a sign that the Whitecaps weren't going to be fielding a very strong team. But nonetheless, some good goals, some good individual performances, and I think the main thing to take out of this was the crowd. 35,000, I think it was 34,700, but 35,000 people to come and see Wrexham play Vancouver Whitecaps. Mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And I think, you know, on the game, Sebastian Revan really impressed me yet again. He had a really solid game down that left-hand side, and he started the flurry of goals for Wrexham with, of course, that really neat strike into the bottom right corner from, it's sort of a ricochet in the box. It was a bit scrappy. He drilled into that right-hand corner. And then to follow, it was a James McElhenney header at the back post and an Elliot Lee header from a free kick, which is very rare to see. And then Jordan Davis finished the scoring off by getting in front of his man and tucking it into sort of the middle-ish of the goal. So overall, it was a good game, a really good attendance. Of course, we had Rob and Ryan watching from the executive boxes. I thought the Whitecaps had a very good game. They scored a really good goal, but I think experience showed, quality showed on Wrexham's end. But overall, a great way to cap off an unbeaten Wrexcoast tour. History continues to be made at Wrexham Football Club, as if it couldn't get any crazier supporting the club. We've got Rob and Ryan, of course, just them in general watching us, owning the football club, multi-millionaires. We've seen Ryan has just released his Deadpool and Wolverine film, which has done £436 million in like the first 4 days. To have them owning the club, watching over Ryan, watching Wrexham, the club he owns, against Vancouver, his hometown, in front of a bumper crowd of 35,000. I'm speechless. I still don't know what to say on this whole situation. We've come a long way since playing Mould in a friendly like we saw. When's it going to end?
When is it going to end, Robbie?
When are Wrexham ever going to stop blowing everyone's minds? And we're going to be ending the video off with some transfer news. John McAtee is the latest name to be rumoured with a move to the Racecourse ground. A couple of sources have said Wrexham have entered the race alongside fellow League One sides, and of course Championship clubs are interested in signing McAtee. McAtee is a name we all know. We know him from the playoffs. We know him from that superb performance against us in the semi-finals in the 21-22 season, when he scored and put that one in the top corner. He's a player we know the quality of. We know the quality that he possesses. We've seen it last season for Barnsley. 16 goals and assists in League One and an average rating of 7.04. A very good player when it comes to, scoring goals in the final third, creating chances, getting on the ball, just adding a dynamic flair to the attacking play. 32 successful dribbles, 40 chances created, 12 goals. It's clear to see he would add a lot of quality to our front three. Of course, take the weight off Elliot Lee's shoulders massively. So would this be a signing you would like to see? Let me know in the comment section down below. For me, I don't have to say anything. I think he would be an incredible signing for us and would add so much to the team. So yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. Help us hit 25,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys. Up the town.